Welcome everybody to the canned meat presentation. First up on a bet is corned beef. I had never had this before until one of my buddies from the Caribbean told me about it. And the way he described it, he said it's pretty good. The way to get in there is tricky. You have a little key on the side to open it. And the first time I did it, the key went fine. The second time I bought it, the key broke. So I had to, brute force to get in there. I had to, get a knife and pop the top and bend the top of the can. The second time the same way. For every reason, the third time the same way. For every reason, I've always had trouble getting in this can. But once you get in there, it's actually pretty good. It's high in sodium, as with all canned meats. It's high in sodium, very high in sodium, because of the preservatives, I guess. But once you get in there, you see it comes out pretty smooth. Now this is a picture of it coming out smooth, but to achieve this, you have to put it in the refrigerator 30 minutes before you actually try to get it out of the can, because if not, it's going to come out kind of warm, kind of mushy, and you won't be able to slice it like in this picture. You see it as perfect slices. You won't be able to do that because it'll be kind of mushy. So I suggest when you take it out, either you put it in the refrigerator beforehand or after you get it out. But once you get it going, man, this is some pretty good stuff. I would recommend it as one of my go-to canned meats. I like corned beef. Corned beef is pretty damn good. And then here we go with potted meat. I was introduced to potted meat. I never heard of potted meat before until I spent time in Florida with my grandparents. My grandfather would go to work, and my grandmother would make him potted meat sandwiches. I thought it was kind of repulsive at the time. I was a kid. I've never didn't have it before then, because my grandfather brand was this one of the brands called I can't remember the name, but it's called Devil Ham. He liked the Devil Ham. Okay, by Underwood. Here you go, Underwood Devil Ham. I thought it was sacrilegious because there was a devil on the side of the packaging, and my family is ultra religious, so it kind of was like, okay, y'all want to get this deviled ham, but I thought anything with the devil was bad. But of course, dealing with food, I guess, and spread, I guess it's a pass on that. I don't know. All I know is my grandfather used to kill these sandwiches. That was his work sandwich, devil ham, devil ham, devil ham. And I was like, what's the mystery behind all of this? But then, as you can see, it's not all that appealing when you actually put it on bread where the rubber meets the road, I guess you can say. It's not all that appealing looking. You just have to kind of doctor it up. I guess in this photograph, I think it was intentionally made to look horrible, because that's what it looked like, a dry piece of cheese between some fake wheat bread, and they just got it all stacked up, making it unappealing. Again, this food is also high in sodium. You always keep that in mind. Next up the bat is beef hash. I have neighbors that I grew up with. They used to buy the corned beef hash because it used to be so cheap back in the 80s. They used to buy the corned beef hash and use it as dog food for the dogs. So I was kind of turned off towards it because my family never really bought the corned beef hash. Well, they actually didn't buy it until I got in the military. That's one of the first times I actually had corned beef hash out the can. I've had hash before, but never out the can. Let me tell you, when you're out there cold and you're in the field and you got your little stove and you got your can opener, this is one of your best friends. Oh my gosh, it was so good the first time I had it. High in sodium, good source of protein, because when we were out there doing movements, out there in the field doing the movements, this kept you going. I mean, it was warm, it was tasty, had little potatoes in it, the cubed potatoes. I was surprised that it was that good. So I started buying it. I don't buy it all the time, but I started buying it, getting used to it. But here's the kicker. Again, the sodium. If you're not exercising, being active, this is one of the things you should avoid, for the simple fact that, yes, you will run your blood pressure up. And yes, you will get, maybe get a little gain, a little weight or what have you, because this is not exactly the top cuts of meats that's going to these canned goods. Or should I say these canned beef, these hash. Next up is Dak ham. Not just particular this brand, but just canned hams in general. Never had this before. Never seen the inside of this before until, again, I got to the military. I'm just like, okay, Uncle Sam's trying to tell me something, like they say, oh, this is a sign. Got there, of course, infantry, out there in the field, and one of my sergeants brought it on our truck. I drove a gun truck. Sergeant brought it onto the truck, and he said, "Hey, you want to try some of this canned ham?" And I kind of looked at him. I was like, I guess, I don't know, because I didn't know what to expect. We were just sharing food. I had my stuff. Instead of eating ramen and stuff, or MREs, it said, try the ham. He opened it up, and then that's what I saw. Oh my gosh. I didn't know what to think. I just thought it was like everything just pressed together. A little fat here, a little fat there. I was like, Jesus, do I have to eat this? And of course, you have a little key that you open up on the side. You wind it like a wind-up toy. Hook the little key on that wire, wind it around, and that's what came up. We had a little stove on our truck, and we kind of, boiled it a little, put it in our cans, kind of seared it. We had a little frying pan, and actually it was pretty darn good. Again, high in sodium, but we were active, so we was able to burn off those calories. If you're not active and you're eating all of these things high in sodium, you will face the consequences down the line. I didn't face the consequences, but it was a good piece of ham out the can. Next is the old Vienna sausages. Oh my gosh. My mother used to stick these in our lunchbox, the little cans in our lunchbox, and you open the bad boy up, and it was like, I think maybe 5 or 6 in a can. Oh my gosh, it had all of that gel, that gelatinous back in the day. It had gel back in the 80s. Like, I haven't had this in very, very long time. Because for the simple fact that it's high in sodium and I'm not as active, and it just doesn't taste the same. Maybe I was hungry back in the day because I was out in the field or it was lunchtime. I don't know. All I know is those little fat sausages, man, these rock. I never cooked them before. I just always used to just put them in water, heat them up. Some people actually cook these and put them on the grill. Now here's another variation of these sausages. Prairie Belt. Stay the heck away from this. This is freaking crap. They have pig spleens in this. My grandmother in Florida used to buy this crap. Hated it. Oh my gosh. I'd rather eat a chitlins and a pig feet sandwich than have this. You open it up, the liquid is brown. It's like a brine because they smoke it, and oh my god. When you have something, who wants pig spleens? Hey, let's go to the restaurant and get some spleen. I hear spleen is horrible as all outdoors. Good lord, who wants a goddamn spleen? I don't want no spleens. I don't even want the Prairie Belt. Stay away from this guy. I'm telling you, that little boy, don't let him fool you. He's a little devil. Don't let him fool you. That SOB is bad. And the grandfather of them all is Spam. Spammity spam. I remember the first time I had Spam. I'm like, what the heck is this? My mother used to make me bologna sandwiches. I was cool with that, just bologna and cheese. Then she said, "No, I'm gonna cook you some Spam." I'm like, "What the heck is that?" I saw her, pull a tab back on the can. I saw this thing. I'm like, "What the heck?" It's like, looked like a little square piece of whatever. She sliced it up and put it in a frying pan and sauteed it and put it on her sandwiches, and the cheese melt. And I was like, it had a sharp taste to it, because back then my taste buds wasn't what they are today. My taste palette was very, very different. Now I can probably stomach it, but again, the sodium is high in sodium. It's good. A lot of Hawaiians eat it. It's good in Hawaii. And as you can see, here's different types of Spam. That's just it. That's what you get. You open up that can. It used to have the gel back in the 80s. Now it's just having like more water. These are the 3 different variations of different kind of brands that you'll get. Maybe light pink and maybe dark pink and maybe speckly. I don't know. But Spam, overall, I give Spam, that's the granddaddy of them all as far as canned meat goes. That's the granddaddy of them all. So I'm not going to diss Spam, because Spam is out there. It got people through some staples. It'll get you, if you're poor, broke, or whatever. It's some good meat to eat. Other than that, everybody, thank you for listening to the video. Thank you for checking me out. Holler back if you can. I'm out.